Hello and welcome to another video. This video is a walk into Lafranchi trying to catch the starlings' murmuration, which not really that successful, but anyway, have a look and see for yourself. And then I went for a slightly longer walk into the hills. I hope you enjoy the video. You can hear them, but you can't really see them. There must be hundreds in these trees. I'm hoping for a murmuration, but not really been successful so far. There you go. I don't suppose they're going to murmurate. They're too low, aren't they? Be ironic if the best murmuration is right outside my house. I'm about 50 metres away from home, just 50 metres. You can actually hear the wings, can't you? Oh, I landed again. I'll also own this little parcel of land here. I think they're just going to move away from me little by little rather than having a proper murmuration. Hope they're not drinking any water down there because it's terribly salty, usually anyway. I don't suppose you'll be able to see very much, if anything. Although there's the lights on the house. But can you hear the insects? 21st of October. And I can still hear all the chirruping. Look, it's raining. The forecast was just cloudy this morning. When I woke up there wasn't a cloud in the sky. And now we've got some rain. Everywhere needs it. I know everyone says that's a very English thing to say, but it does. Apart from the little bit of rain before I arrived last week. When was it? Monday last week. It's Wednesday. And this is the first rain that I've seen. Looking at the horizon though, with any luck, it won't last long. This is an afternoon. I've parked at a place called Carve and we're going on a little walk. Now I just thought I'd show you these succulents growing here, but this damage is wild boar searching for roots and things and possibly moisture. It's been so dry. This motorway is the motorway to Spain. I shall be leaving it in a minute and disappearing up there somewhere. Maybe you can still hear the autoroute. Oh dear. I think it's the sunshine, unless I've got a cold from somewhere, but given I don't meet any people, that would be rather surprising. When I left the car, there's one of those temperature gauges outside the mairie. It said it was 27 degrees. It does feel warm, but I don't know whether that's normal. I don't think it is. Not this time of year. It's the 21st of October. Is that Trafalgar Day? I think it might be, unless it's the 23rd, I can never remember. Anyway, I'm slowly climbing. I'm slowly getting away from the autoroute. On y va. This is quite French. I've come to a crossroads. I think that is a gas pipeline, so I think it goes straight. That way I can see a yellow cross on a rock, so it's not that way. So I'm assuming it is this way. You have to just rely on the paintings on signposts and on rocks and trees and things. If it's a cross, then you've gone the wrong way. Aha. See that on there, if you can see it? That means carry straight on. Which I assume is this one rather than that track there. I do have a map, I do have a proper paper map, but I think the gas pipeline's not shown on it, and only sort of proper footpaths, and this is just possibly an access track to vineyards. They're not necessarily shown. Anyway, I can't go far wrong. I know which is north, I know where the car is, and oh, I am on the right way because there's another yellow flash there. But also I can hear the autoroute, so I can just head back for that. That means it's not that route. I need to continue on this route, which I shall do. Sometimes the signs are very easy to follow. I'm following the bouclier, but I'll say that again, the Boucle Sentier de la Garrigue, which is only about 10 kilometres in total. I don't know what Capitale means, so I shall walk down there and find out. Plenty more evidence that wild boar have been here all along this path with dug up bits. I think they'll have enjoyed the rain if there's puddles anywhere, but this landscape is very dry. It doesn't really hold water. Some of the autoroute is fading a bit. Here's some birds instead. Oh, there's a Capitale, a type of borry then, I wonder. More wild boar evidence. Maybe it's a posh borry. Here it is. I'll go around the side of it and see what it is. Well, it's substantial, but other than a small living space in the middle, I don't know what all this is for. Lots more stones everywhere, but who knows? I've come to realise these videos are a sort of company for me. Living where I do, I can go for day after day without actually speaking out loud. Well, there's emails and things, but I don't talk to people. I had 2 phone calls yesterday, so there were 2 humans I spoke to, and today I had a phone call in French with a French lady. I spoke to her last 2 or 3 days ago. I'm arranging to, or rather she was going to come and visit me and we were going to have lunch, but she's lost her wallet and everything in it, so she daren't go out. She's got no money. I will say I've met her before. I don't think she's a scam artist, but because she's lost her identity card and her driving licence and everything, she daren't go out because she'd be breaking the law if she got stopped and didn't have her identity documents with her, which of course we don't have in England. You can carry them if you want, but you don't have to. But in France, yeah, so anyway, I'm driving over tomorrow and I will actually be talking, I suppose, for an hour or so over lunch, and my brain's going to get a real workout as it's in French. But yeah, apart from that, I just don't talk. So I talk to you instead, my little black rectangle, and that's a sort of substitute, although of course the camera never talks back. This one's lost all its leaves unless everything's dead. I'm not really sure, but anyway, it doesn't look particularly well tended, but yeah, no leaves here at all, whereas next door to me there's plenty of leaves still. Just come across this. I wonder what they do for water. It's not a bad view, is it? You can see the sea in the distance and the Etang. Doesn't look like any vehicles have been here for quite some time. There's still butterflies flying around. There's big grasshoppers flying. You might be able to hear them, I can't. My hearing is not what it used to be. I was thinking the other day, and I can't remember whether I said it to camera or just to my own head. The only disadvantage of walking around the garrigue is that it doesn't really change. These are all evergreens, so you don't really see a change. And obviously there's some flowers there, lavender, yep, but you don't really see a difference whatever time of the year you come. Of course, even in the garrigue the seasons are not completely indistinguishable. These would have been quite nice when they've been in flower, but they're past their prime now and just dropping seeds. Some kind of yucca, not yucca, aloe vera type thing, not sure. But the balls have been here as well, the sanglier. I saw Walker a little while ago, another actual human being. Evidence of this morning's rain, and the wind turbines over there show there's a bit of a breeze. Can't hardly really feel it. There's warnings tomorrow, gusts of up to 110 kilometres an hour, which is 65 miles an hour, so it's going to get blustery, which is more normal for here, to be honest. But the last 10 days I've been here, it's been very, very quiet wind-wise. I was expecting it to be a lot more windy, as were the organisers of the kite surfing festival. So that's been a washout, or a calm out, whatever you call it in wind terms. There we go, another sign. I did ride this on the mountain bike. Oh yeah, that way, down there. I recognise this bit. Last year it would have been last, maybe even this time last year, I rode some of this route on my mountain bike. You see these sorts of constructions all over the place. They're for killing things from. It is a dying thing in France, but la chasse, or the hunt, is still quite popular, but they don't hunt. They just sit in these things and wait for, in this case I suppose, the wild boar to come to them. They have dogs out to chase the boar, and they just sit there and wait. So the only skill really they have is as a marksman, not as a hunter. Thankfully it's dying out in France as well. Up till a little bit before this point, you could have driven round the track. You wouldn't necessarily even need a four-wheel drive, just something with a bit of ground clearance, like a 2CV. But this last little bit has suddenly become more of a single track, and from memory it then goes into the woods and descends quite steeply. But for most of it, it's a fairly easy walk, so not particularly challenging for walking on. But it's nice to be out in the sunshine and fresh air. Well, it's no more fresh for me than it is at home, but anyway, it's nice to be out in the countryside and stretching my legs, and doing a 10-kilometre walk is always a good thing. A couple of birds talking to one another, singing to one another. I couldn't really see them though. Small ones. And this is where the path begins to drop, as you can see from the view. This tells me I've got to go left, and signposts saying the same thing, so we go left. And this is the bit I remember suddenly going downhill in the woods, and there's a sign there to tell me I'm on the yellow route, and a sign there to tell me I'm also on another route. You may not be able to tell, but this is reasonably steep. That over there, I think, is Trèze, that I normally cycle through It's about a 30-minute cycle ride from home. Oh, that was a big grasshopper flying past. It's still reasonably steep, not scarily steep, but it is quite a fast descent. A cave. Not a cave at all. We're near cave, as it says there. Now this is a well, a puits, and I assume given that maybe they. Well, there's water in it, and there were lizards on the wall as I approached. I don't know whether you got the water out of there and then poured it into this channel. I don't know what for. Animals, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, a well considerably deeper than my well. Well, there is water up here then, but just not anywhere near the surface. Anyway, that one's restored. But presumably there are lots more. I know I've seen a few ruins of some. I'm going back now. I'm much lower, and I can hear the auto route, so probably only another mile, another 1.5 kilometres from where the car is. And here we go, joining the like a motorway scar of this gas main that runs for miles and miles. So we are in the, I'm not near any track, and then you get that. So they're almost as if they're assuming traffic will come this far and then stop and turn around. Only 100 metres away from that sign, and actually, if you look at this, it was tarmacked, as if it was a road at one time. Little plane heading for Perpignan, maybe. I suppose this is evidence that once upon a time this whole area was intensively farmed with a lot more people. Now there's vineyards, and not all of these look like they're particularly well tended, do they? So, as ever, depopulation of the countryside, coupled with loads of cars hammering up and down the motorway. I have very poor sense of smell, but even I can smell these crushed grape skins. I don't know whether this is, oh yeah, full of them as well. Waste product, if you like, from the winemaking place, but it's, I think, a fertiliser. I don't actually know why it's here. They don't usually fertilise vines. It's a weird juxtaposition, isn't it? That way, complete countryside, and that way, the auto route. From here, it's about half an hour, if that, to Spain. To my right. So pretty much everything coming from the right has come from Spain, and everything going to the right is going to Spain. And me, I'm not going to Spain, at least. I'm not going to Spain for another few days. I'm going back to where I started from, under the auto route. On the way here, I stopped just to get something out of my rucksack, and two old ladies in a little car came through here. So it's still in use as a road. Banksy said, if graffitis could change something, they would be something. What do you think? As I couldn't see the word, I don't know. Meters along, as you can hear from the autoroute, you come to this sign, which demonstrates that this is a road and it is still in use as a road. So this, I assume, was a much more used road before the autoroute was built. Oh, there's another cat. Come on in. It's nice when the cats don't run away because you know they've not been maltreated. Cats, bye bye. Bye bye, cats. And look, an XM. Don't see many of those around. And a Mercedes Heimer. Again, what's the wrong one? I'm nearly back at my car now. This is the modern suburbs of the village. And then a few metres on a rather older vehicle. Into the slightly older part of the village now. I wonder what that was. A well? A bread oven? Nothing really to say anymore. What it was. This little footpath, this route, is taking me through the back streets of this village. This is the mairie, and this used to lie on the Via Domitia, which has been rubbed out. It was there. A little more detail. It was the first route to Spain, I think, from Rome. And here we are, back at base. Now time to drive home, which will take all of 5 minutes, and have a nice cold drink. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Join me again soon for another episode. Bye bye.